Closely related to hydrocarbons are things called R groups. R groups are wild cards, placeholders that are dangling off of a molecule, and R groups are almost always some kind of hydrocarbon. I find R groups a little bit hard to describe, so let's simply see an example. So here's a molecule, and this molecule has something coming off the side of it. We describe that as an R group. This is really no different from doing an internet search and putting a wildcard in your search to say, I want anything that contains these characters plus something else. So this is simply notifies the reader that there's something there. Now, hydrocarbon R groups come in three flavors, just like we saw in an earlier discussion. There are alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. And if the R group is only carbon-carbon single bonds, then it's like an alkane. And we don't call the R group an alkane group, we call it an alkyl group. So we take the word alkane and we convert it into an adjective form. So this R group might be an alkyl group. An example of that would be something small. So here's a small group that's a carbon group. It only consists of single bonds, and so this R group is an alkyl group. Specifically, it is the methyl group. And methyl is a specific example, and that falls in our nomenclature. We'll see that later, but that's a methyl group. If R contains a carbon-carbon double bond, then you hear double bonds, you think alkenes, and this is, whoops, can I go back on that? Bam, look at that. It's an alkenyl group. And there are a lot of other ways to describe alkenyl groups. There are older terms like vinyl and olefinic, but alkenyl group, it's based off alkene, just like alkane became alkyl, alkene becomes alkenyl. So let's see an example of that. Here's our six-membered ring. That's the base of our molecule. And what is our R group? Well, we've got a group that contains a double bond coming off the side. In total, 3 carbons, but that 3-carbon group does contain a carbon-carbon double bond, so that's an alkenyl group. And you may have guessed where we're going on this. If it contains a carbon-carbon triple bond, then that is reminiscent of an alkyne, and that should be connected, an alkyne, and so we could call this an alkynyl group. And again, here is our molecule. Here's our R group coming off. And there's our alkyne attached to our main group. It's an alkynyl group coming off the larger molecule, and that is specifically what replaces R. So R groups are wildcards of molecules. You're specifying that there's something there. It's almost always a hydrocarbon type group. Are there exceptions? Of course, there are always exceptions, but typically it's a hydrocarbon group.